It's going to be a tricky time for people who are trying to stay sober. And for those in recovery from addiction, fighting the urge to drink can be the biggest challenge of all.
Yeah, joining us now to help people survive the holidays sober is sobriety coach and mental health expert Dominic Chianese of the Paramount Wellness Retreat in Hamden, Connecticut. Nice to have you with us this afternoon.
Lovely to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
So I want to start off by asking this. How common is it for people to relapse during this holiday season?
Unfortunately, it is all too common due to a number of reasons. There's a lot of pressure we often feel, whether it's social, whether it's family dynamics, financial. Sometimes it's as simple as the bad weather that we're about to experience. But this tradition, this idea that we're supposed to be drinking during this holiday season, I think is the myth we have to change and start a new tradition.
Okay, so, I know as people are going through sort of their recovery process, sometimes they're told to look, try and avoid the people, avoid the places, avoid the things that might trigger you to relapse. But what if the people are your family and the places is the family house, the old house you grew up in, and, the things are all the things that you do? I mean, it just seems like this is ripe for people to, to have issues.
Precisely, Corey. One of the reasons why it's common to relapse right now. Yes, let's face it, there are some elements there, like going to see family. I mean, they made the buttons. They're going to know how to push them, right? Yeah. But we have to remember these are our loved ones, and they do ultimately support us. And it's impossible to avoid every person, place, or thing that triggers us. But we can limit it, and we can find different ways to navigate it without turning to that old friend that betrayed us,
sure.
Alcohol.
Well, so you're sharing 5 trigger preventers. The first one is to be honest about why you're not drinking. How much information should somebody share, or do they need to share with somebody?
That's a terrific question, Tamsin. I believe that you should do it according to your comfort zone. I believe anybody who is close to you will accept that you're trying to change for the better. And to erase the stigma, even the fact that we now know that recovery is available is a relatively new thing. So I don't think anybody's going to be surprised that you're trying to change for the better and it doesn't include alcohol. I think they will support, but I think it's very important to have one person that you completely trust, knows exactly what you're trying to do and why, and have that person available, whether it by phone or on site.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense. That makes sense. You touched on earlier the idea that there are all these myths that sort of connect the holidays with drinking, and sort of, we got to break that sort of that connection. How do we actually change these connections in our mind between the holidays and a warm glass of wine or a hot toddy or something like that?
Right, yeah. We do tend to romanticize and glamorize what it was like. And since we're trying to change our relationship with alcohol, it's like any other relationship. Once it gets abusive, we can't romanticize and glamorize it. And we have to recognize that it's time to change that relationship. So yes, it would be nice to curl up with a glass of wine, but is it really a glass of wine when we're really honest with ourselves? So let's play that all the way through. The fact is, you will still be able to curl up with a glass of tea or whatever else you were doing, whether it's a book, your pet, your loved ones, a favorite movie. Those things you can still enjoy. If you just take alcohol out of the equation, it's not that you're not really missing out on that much. You're missing out on an idea. So yes, Corey, change the idea of how romantic and glamorous that is and really play that tape through. You'll realize you're not missing much with this breakup.
Yeah, sometimes we misremember the past, right?
Well, great way to put it, Tamsin. Misremember, yes.
Let me ask you something. How does somebody who wants a drink go about distracting themselves from the fact that they're not drinking?
Okay. Listen, it's okay to want to drink. I would actually not distract yourself from that fact. I would actually focus on the fact that you're trying not to drink.
Okay.
And remind yourself that just for today, I'm not having that drink. The distractions are great. Just to share with everyone, the craving comes on us, and it's a physiological craving that creates feelings. That lasts for 30 seconds. Distract yourself in any way possible. Move a muscle, change a thought. We have to incorporate the fact that we're normalizing this. So if somebody asks you if you're not drinking, the answer is because I don't have to.
Yeah.
right now. This is
Right,
empowering.
right.
Whether you want to or not, or can or not, is irrelevant. I don't have to. As long as I don't pick up that first one, I have a choice. If the craving comes on and I start to obsess about it, change. Move a muscle, change a thought. It is sometimes that simple.
Here's a question for you. Let's say you are hosting, and you don't have a problem. You have a good relationship or a fine relationship with alcohol, but you have somebody who is coming to the house, a cousin, an uncle, or this or that, who's coming who you know has an issue, and maybe they're in recovery. How do you then, as a host, how do you change? Should you change? Should you make adjustments? What do you say?
You know what? That's a fair question and probably a very common one. I would say that if you are the person in recovery and you're uncomfortable with alcohol being served, you can make a request. It's fine to request no alcohol being served, but as a host, you should make sure that this person feels comfortable showing up, and when they're uncomfortable, leaving. I support your recovery. Thanks for showing up. If you're uncomfortable and you need to leave, make them feel comfortable with doing that. Because remember, their recovery is more important than dinner or a party. So thanks for showing up. You don't have to. But yeah, if you can, if it's a small gathering and this family member is important and everybody's on the same page, yeah, you can abstain from putting wine on the table, sure.
I feel like there's so many other options out there now, so many non-alcoholic options that they've made seemingly, you know, maybe that's another option for people.
Absolutely. There's plenty of festive mocktails.
Yeah. Mocktails. Dominic, nice to have you with us. Thank you. This is a really important topic, you know, not just this time of year, but especially this time of year. So we appreciate you joining us.
It is my pleasure. And if any of our viewers are trying to change for the better, I just wanted to say, I believe in you and I support you. And thanks for being part of the solution in this very difficult time.
It's great.
And I wanted to just say I'm coming to you from the job here in Haddam, Connecticut at Paramount Wellness Retreat. I got to get back to work. Thank you so much for having me.
You go do your thing, and we're going to tell people how they can contact you. Thanks. All right, again, there it is right there on your screen, ParamountWellnessRetreat.com. You can check it out.